In the Pokemon universe, getting a legendary Pokemon is equally as fulfilling as getting a shiny. But which are the best legendaries out there? Well, in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the top 10 most legendary Pokemon. I mean, after the original 3 legendaries, Moltres, Articuno, and Zapdos, there's so many more that were actually made, obviously. So, 10. Zacian. Pokemon Sword's mascot was Zacian, the most recent fairy-type legendary in the series. It features one of the most intriguing legendary designs, including the ability to wield a sword in its mouth. While the trait might have seemed odd at first, it has since evolved into a defining characteristic that has helped it become a fan favorite. When a rusted sword is given to Zacian to hold, he also gains advantages from possessing a crowned sword form. With a staggering 720 base stat, which includes a seismic 170 attack number, it is one of the most potent fairy types to ever have graced the series. Additionally, it can also receive steel typing, which gives it a massive quantity of type resistances. When Ash and Pikachu tried to find Go after becoming separated in the slumbering world, Zacian first emerged. When the two saw the mirage of the warrior Pokemon, they made an attempt to fight it. However, Pikachu's Iron Tail unexpectedly phased right through Zacian, shocking Ash. Zacian howled, adding to the fog as it vanished into thin air. It was a really fun character in the anime, and people really wanted to see more of it. Number 9. Xerneas. The stag-like Xerneas, which first appeared in Pokemon X and Y on the Nintendo 3DS, possessing the capacity to grant perpetual life, possibly the most coveted and potent power in the entire world. Unfortunately, it transforms into a tree and sleeps for 1,000 years when it expends too much life force. Since Xerneas was the first fairy-type legendary in the series, it quickly became popular with the gamers. It's an excellent addition to your squad because fairy types are effective against dragon types, which are frequently among the most powerful Pokemon in the games, both offensively and defensively. Geomancy, its stunning, distinctive stat booster move, boosts its special attack, special defenses, and speed by 2 stages. We actually don't get to see this Pokemon in the anime, but rather in the Pokemon movie titled Diancie and the Cocoon of Destruction. Although it's unknown whether Xerneas might evolve into or form another Pokemon, it does have 2 forms that can change based on its situation. Xerneas' horns are multicolored when it's in active mode, during a battle or a Pokemon contest. Otherwise, Xerneas is always in neutral mode and has Scion horns when it's not engaged in a battle or a Pokemon contest. Number 8. Lugia. As mentioned earlier in this video, Zapdos, Articuno, Moltres, the first legendary 3, have a special place in fans' hearts because of the nostalgia element. Although they've all been outdone by the legendaries that followed them, Lugia, who oversees the legendary birds of Kanto, is one of them. Lugia, known as the Guardian of the Seas, can summon and calm storms with its wings, and is the only one who has authority over legendary birds. In terms of popularity, it's attracted a lot more attention than its rival legendary, Ho-Oh. It's interesting to note that 3 different Pokemon games have used Gen 2 Pokemon as their mascot. Pokemon Silver on the Game Boy Advance, Pokemon Soul Silver on Nintendo DS, and the cult favorite Pokemon XD, the Gale of Darkness on the GameCube. Also, while we're not really adding Ho-Oh to this list because of how much stronger these Pokemon are, it's still important to mention that Ho-Oh was in fact the first legendary Pokemon that we ever saw in the anime. And they even resurrected Ash after he died in the Pokemon movie, I Choose You. So yeah, they did play a huge role, but it was just that we don't think that they're strong enough to be on this list. And that being said, let's move on to our number 7, Dialga. With the diamond in its chest, Dialga, the massive dinosaur encased in metal armor, can manipulate time itself. That's like the coolest freaking thing ever, and it surpasses Palkia, its space-controlling sibling, only on the basis of design though. Since Dialga is the only dragon/steel type in the game and is immune to 9 types, it has a significant tactical edge. Although its signature move, Roar of Time, necessitates skipping a turn, it's a very potent assault that you're going to want to have in your toolbox. And as if that weren't enough, during the movie Arceus and the Jewel of Life's grand conclusion, Dialga battled Arceus, the physical embodiment of God in the Pokemon universe, with the aid of Palkia and Giratina. The entire fight is nothing short of insane. Number 6. Suicune has the edge when it comes to character design. 2 streamer tails and a purple mane that evokes the Aurora Borealis up the cool factor of this animal. It symbolizes the rain that fell when the brass tower burned down, a legend that also gave Raikou and Entei new lives. I mean, technically speaking, it is one of the legendary beasts resurrected by a Ho-Oh after the burning of the brass tower. With numerous robust storylines over films and anime episodes, the water-type legendary has emerged as a star of the Pokemon franchise, putting its sister Johto legendaries far behind. Suicune's appeal can be seen in other games as well. It won a coveted slot as a playable fighter in Pokken Tournament on Nintendo Switch, and frequently appears as a potent prize in the Smash Bros. Series, where its Aurora Beam might paralyze opponents on the stage. Number 5. Groudon. Haha, yep. Good old Groudon. Groudon, Kyogre, and Rayquaza are three of the most sought-after legendaries in the Pokemon universe today after making their debut in Gen 3's Hoenn region, and as such, they all deserve a spot on this list. They are all members of the immensely powerful Weather Trio. Being a rare legendary ground-type Pokemon, Groudon dominates the land. It excels in both attack and defense numbers. Plus, it has a fantastic ability called Drought that conjures up glaring sunshine, enhancing fire-type techniques and hurting water types, like its fellow legendary Kyogre. It becomes an utter beast on the battlefield when the Primal Reversion ability is added, giving it a staggering 770 base stat overall. The Pokemon actually gained so much fame after a YouTube channel by the name of Jaden Animations made a video wherein she did a Nuzlocke run. In the viral video, Jaden says that she masterballed Groudon, making for a pretty funny animation, I'd say. Number 4. Kyogre. It was challenging to choose which of the two primordial animals would rank higher on the list because of the long-running rivalry between the land-based Groudon and the water-based Kyogre. But ultimately, the Water-type legendary triumphed for, well, a number of reasons that we're gonna go into right now. Given that Kyogre is referred to as the personification of the sea itself, it seems natural that it's one of the strongest Water-type Pokemon available. It possesses the ability to fly, despite its size and its, well, species. The Gen 3 Pokemon also has a type edge over its legendary rival Groudon. Therefore, the former would probably prevail in a fight. It consequently received a higher ranking on the list. Interestingly enough, though, people argue that in terms of primal form, Groudon is better than Kyogre. But hey, whether or not you want to believe it is all up to you. Number 3. Giratina. One of the spookiest Pokemon in the franchise's history might just be Giratina. Giratina is the personification of antimatter that has the ability to traverse several dimensional planes. In addition to its fellow Sinnoh creation trio, legendaries Dialga and Palkia, who stand for time and space respectively, the draconic Pokemon possess two distinct forms, one for offense and one for defense, and rules over an extra-dimensional realm known as the Distortion World. The powerful addition of its signature move, the Ghost-type Shadow Force, might wreak havoc in particularly, well, any conflict, so not very particular. One of the most sought-after legendaries in the games is also a blend of Dragon and Ghost types, which is a combination that only a few Pokemon can claim. Jaden Animations also made another viral video where she attempted another Nuzlocke run, but also added an interesting plot between her and Giratina. Number 2. Rayquaza. Over the course of its 10.5-year existence, Pokemon has released a ton of Dragon legendaries, with many of them, like Zekrom and Giratina, becoming some of the most well-known characters in the franchise. But for us, Rayquaza is the best Dragon type. Its supremacy was demonstrated by the fact that it was the first Pokemon to Mega Evolve, as revealed in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and that it was strong enough to save humanity by putting an end to the conflict between Groudon and Kyogre, two of the other Weather Trio legendaries from the Hoenn region. Although its appearances in other video games haven't been as frequent as those in the Pokemon world, it did make an appearance as a tough boss fight in Super Smash Bros. Brawl on the Nintendo Wii, which is something. Number 1. Mewtwo. How could we truly have topped this list with any other Pokemon? The majority of gamers will concur that the iconic Mewtwo is the ultimate legendary. Regardless of whether or not you've been a part of the fanbase for a short while, or if you've been there since the beginning, if you know a lot, don't know a lot, whatever. Mewtwo is the coolest backstory Pokemon. Not just because it's got awesome abilities like telekinesis and mind control, but also because it's a clone of Mew that was made by scientists through a series of horrific gene splicing and DNA engineering operations. It developed a violent nature as a result, and its only concern is subduing its enemies. Mewtwo is still a fan favorite in the competitive scene and was the first, and only, legendary to make an appearance as a fighter in the Smash Bros. Series. So, if you enjoyed our Animezing content, then please leave a like on this video and hit the subscribe button to see more videos. Also, if you want a recap of a new episode, just let us know down below. We'll hook you up. And yeah, later.